Well, hello one all. Welcome back to the Purple Rain Podcast, where this is it. It is time to begin creating our protection lists for Phase 1 of the 2026 PWHL expansion process, which of course will see us build the rosters for PWHL Detroit, PWHL Las Vegas, PWHL Hamilton, and PWHL San Jose. Now, if you didn't check us out this time last year, let's explain how it works. So for each team, we're going to talk through the players that we will consider to be put down on our protection list. We can only have 3 players on the list. I'm going to do that for each team. And it has to be unanimous. So each decision we make, it has to be unanimous. Otherwise, we cannot move on to the next team. Hence why we refer to it as a lock-in. And we've got no food, we've got no water, we're not going to be allowed to go to the loo. The heat wave is kicking in. Yep, so it's going to be torture. Torture! Well, Lady's looking forward to it. No, she's fucking not. Oh! Wow, this is going to get nasty, by the way, guys. This is going to be nasty. Yeah, if we 3 manage to make it out alive without any cuts, bruises, or scars, then, well, yeah. Anyway, yeah. I feel this year is going to be a lot more trickier because we've got, not just because we've got 4 teams joining the league, but we've got 8 teams that are up for the grabs in terms of players. So, I think it's going to be tricky, especially with Seattle Vancouver, because they only just joined this time last year. So it's kind of hard to work out what players you can protect from there. We'll give it a good go. Okay, so we're going to be doing it in alphabetical order. So, in a moment, we are going to be starting with the Boston Fleet. And so we're going to go through it alphabetical order. So by the end of each segment, we will have 3 players from each team that we want to put on our protection list. So, are we ready? Yeah, are we ready? Right, so let's take a quick pause. When we come back, we'll get started. And as I said, we're going to start with the Boston Fleet. Okay, so as I said, we're doing this in alphabetical order. So we are starting with the Boston Fleet. Now, do we think it makes it easier or harder to do with Boston, given how going into the start we did not predict Boston would be where they were at? I don't think it's harder, because I think for me, there's a list of candidates who you could protect. Which can I go? Let's list them: Anne Franco, Megan Keller, Aline Muller, then Haley Wynn, Abby Newark. That is who you have to consider protecting. Okay. Yes, you could also potentially throw Jesse Eldridge in there. I don't think they're gonna. I've been saying ever since the trade, I don't see how Boston can realistically hold on to Jesse Eldridge. I'll be amazed if they can by we get to the end of the whole thing, but I don't see it happening. Okay, if we're basing it off just them, then straight away, Al Franco. Yes, I'm not in now. Straight away. Boston still, to me, I don't know about you two, but to me, Boston still has not convinced me but they've got a reliable backup to Aaron Frankel. Just know. So if she goes, the whole thing literally falls apart. Plus, she's been my pick for goaltender of the year pretty much the entire season. She's had an impressive year both in the PHL and in the Olympics. So she's definitely, you would be stupid not to. But then again, after that, who do you then go with? Because Megan Keller has been amazing as Boston's captain. And that was not easy, having to take over from the great Harry Knight. That was not easy. So who does Boston go with? Because for me, I looked at both Haley Wynn and Abby Newark being 2 future faces of the franchise. But, oh my god. Well, I don't think you can afford to protect both. I know we can't protect both, because Megan Kerr's probably going to want to fight her way into the conversation. But, can we maybe do the Wynn Newark battle first? Because that will take more time than the Muller-Keller battle. Yeah, okay. Here you do, George. If it was just you. If it was just me, I probably would have gone with Newark over Wynn. But I don't think I'm going to win this battle. I'm already now prepared to accept the fact that Abby Newark most likely is going to get taken by an expansion team. And unfortunately, yeah, what can you do, Boston? What can you do? Yeah. So I'm already prepared for that now. So I'm prepared to sacrifice her to win. But let's see the album first. Would you two protect Wayne over Newark? Yeah, I thought that. I thought they were going to say that. Right, you look at her you look at her numbers this year, George, and she's proven why she is most likely going to win Rookie of the Year. You think? Yeah, I think she will. Well, I think we kind of thought would Boston lock in Rookie of the Year convincingly, because obviously both her and Newark did really well. I still hope Gilda gets a shout, but we'll see. But yeah, so she has been really impressive anyway. You know, complete. I think Boston drafted brilliantly last year, because going into last year's extra draft Ottawa, Boston lost big time in the expansion process. Oh yeah, big time. You wonder how are they going to be able to replace what they've lost, and yet they didn't do that bad. They actually did really well and got themselves from being outside chances to cup contenders. You know, I mean, no one saw that stuff with Boston. No one saw that coming, and unfortunately, 1 or 2 losses towards the end of the season ultimately then cost them that league title. Yeah, they were so close, but do you think we still would have faced Montreal there? Yeah. Oh yeah, I think we still would have, but I think Boston might have thought. I think if Boston got the right to pick between us and Ottawa, I think Boston probably, even though it probably wouldn't have been the wise thing to pick Ottawa, I think they would have done, because they know that we are capable of beating them in a playoff series, like because obviously we have done it, been there, got that ball, the t-shirt. Yeah. So I think Boston, they might have still picked us, but I think they more like would have wanted to go for Ottawa to try and prove a point that they can beat Ottawa, yeah, rather than run the risk of facing us in the semis and not getting into the finals. Yeah. So, and I think we would have given Boston a good run for their money. Yeah, because I think we had more confidence going up against Boston than Montreal. Agree. Well, no, you two did. Yeah. You two did not want Montreal. Yeah. So, of those two going forward, who do you think is more likely to be a face of the franchise, Win or Newark for Boston? Win. Right. We're not budging. I can see that. Boys and girls. We are not budging. We shall not be moved! 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 Alright, fine! I'll put her in. Fine. If Newark wasn't also up for consideration, I would have gone, yes, fine, we can have Haley win in, no problems, but oh, I don't like the thought of that, because I really did hold on, let me just spell that correctly. Because I really did thought that both Haley Wynn and Abby Newark would be 2 future faces of the franchise, but this team, and now there's a very high chance that one of them could be gone. Even like the Jill Saunier, Laura Clue could also be seriously under threat because of Wynn. I mean, yes, it did. This spelled correctly. Once again, that's all. Right, now the question is, who gets the 3rd spot? Now, there could be a world where Jessie Eldridge gets protected over Megan Keller, because we all know Boston loves to shop its captains. Boston loves to shop its captains. And the irony is, because obviously last year in the NHL, the Boston Bruins did shop their captain to Florida. And I remember, because obviously I was still doing Team Report at the time. In fact, it was the trade line came last year. It came not long after I announced that to the pack that I was going to be ending Team Report after the current season. Yeah. I remember on the time we did the trade deadline recap saying, you don't get that in the Boston fleet. They know what loyalty means. And then, of course, 2 months later, I get proven wrong and they shop Hillary Knight to Seattle. So, Boston has got form to shop its captains. So I could technically see a world where Jessie Eldridge actually does get protected over the likes of Alina Muller and Megan Keller, because the fleet might see it more worthy. There's more capital to keep Eldridge than it is to keep Keller and Muller. But I think right now I can't bring myself to do it. I can't. Right now, I think for this first phase, I can't bring myself to put her on the list. I'm so tempted, but I can't do it. I can't. I just think you'd have to be in Boston. No, surely not again. Surely not again. Please, surely you've learnt your lesson from last year. Surely not again. Come on. No, seriously, come on. No, surely not again. I'm the same as you, George. I do concede a world where Jesse Eldridge gets protected over Megan Keller. I could see it happening. Okay, but would you? But George can't do it. But would you do it? Oh, I don't know. Get off the fence! Get off the fence! This is horrible! This is horrible. It's the first one. 7 more to go after this, guys. Strap yourselves in, kids. Get that cocoa on now! Oh, this is horrible. This is horrible. Oh, just... She's cocooned! Lady, they can still see you, love. She's cocooned. She's got cocooned herself. That's brilliant. She's basically made herself a fortress. I don't want to do this. Tough shit. I don't want to do this. And what's worse is this time around we've got to do this twice. Got to do this twice. Because obviously, you know, we've got phase 3 to come. And that's what. Got to do this twice. Yeah, but phase 3 should be easier, because by phase 3, a few will have already been signed to expansion teams, will know who we've got to work with. Whereas this is pretty much fair game. I don't want to do this. Well, Admiral and Keller, who would we consider protecting? Keller! Yes, Ellie Moore had a great Olympics, but Megan Keller has had a good all-round season, so I'm thinking Megan Keller. Plus, Eldridge only arrived to Seattle from Seattle to Boston back in March. She spent most of her season this year with Seattle. So, can I dare warrant this is the problem I've got, can I dare warrant making the argument to protect someone who's only been with the team for a month, rather than someone who has made their captain, given the C, trusted with the C, and put this team in position to actually win the World Cup? I can't do it. I can't. I can absolutely see a world where Jesse Eldridge does get protected over Megan Keller, but I can't. For this space, I can't bring myself to do it. I can't. If she survives the phase 3, fine, we'll put her on straight on for phase 3, but I can't. I can't do it. Lady, if you can, or you put her, but I can't do it. I can't. No, I can't do it. I cannot do it. Keller? Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah, Megan Keller? Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, I can't. Because we all did wonder after Harry got sent to Seattle, we all did wonder who was going to take over as captain of the Boston Fleet. And whoever did it was going to have very big shoes to fill. And Megan Keller, straight away, just proved us all why she was given that C by Chris Barr. Yeah. No, straight away. She earned that C. So, I just think, nah, don't do it again, Boston. Nah, don't do it again. That's the way I see it. So, as much as I would have loved to have said, yeah, protect Eldridge, I can't see it right now. Not right now. No. If she survives to phase 3, then fine, because obviously in phase 3 you get to protect another 3 players. That means we'll be coming back on here again not long after phase 2. Yeah, but right now, no. Okay, so Boston, we have got Aaron Frankel, Hayley Wynn, and Megan Keller. Now, are you happy for me to confirm that? As a reminder, if you're new to this, if you did not check out last year, after each list, we have to each confirm that we are happy with that selection. Otherwise, we can't move on. Right. These lists have to be Unanimous. If one of us does not agree, then we can't move on. We have to on until we reach a unanimous verdict. Okay, so it has to be unanimous. Okay, so you're going to select each time. We're going to ask these two, and then I'll confirm myself if we're happy to lock these in. If so, yay, we move on to the next team. If not, we can't move on. Hence why we refer to this as a lock-in scenario. By the way, right? So you have to be to confirm those. Yes or no? Yes. Thank you, lady. Pluto. I am happy with that. I'm happy with that. Lock in. Yeah, I'm happy with that too. Okay, there we go. There we go. That's the first one done. That is the first one done. So our protectionist for the Boston Fleet is Aaron Frankel, Haley Wynn, and Megan Keller. So there we go. That's the first one down. Right. As I mentioned, we're doing this in alphabetical order. That means... Oh, God. Next up, it's Oz. Uh-oh. Get back in your cocoon, lady. Oh, God. Here we go. I think there's going to be some fisticuffs. There's going to be some fights. So I'm going to make sure all sharp objects are removed. No remote controls that anyone can throw at me. Yeah. We've got an idea of 2 that we think needs to be protected. We're just not sure of the 3rd, but we'll come down. We'll go do it. Okay. So we're going to take a quick pause, then we're going to come back, and then we're going to get straight into it with our protection list. Wish us luck. Alright, brace yourselves, kids. This could be where the fisticuffs happen, because it's now time to make our 2026 protection list for our 2-time World Cup champion, Minnesota Frost. Of course, that's how it has to be referred to. Yeah, I know. Technically, we are still the reigning American World Cup champions, because no one else in America has won the World Cup yet. So technically we still have a reign, it's just we're not the reigning champs anymore. But, hey, we'll get that cup back eventually. Alright, right, so... I remember when we did it this time last year, it was absolutely painful. Because we were very confident that no way were Seattle or Vancouver getting their hands on Taylor Heisey or Kale Coin Schofield. Over my dead body was the words I think I used. So, straight away, this is non-negotiable. Heisey's on the list. Yes! That's non-negotiable. She's on the list. That is non-negotiable. That is non-negotiable, okay? And let me send out a direct message. I'm going to go to the camera. Here we go. Let me send a direct message to San Jose, Hamilton, Detroit, or Las Vegas. Hands off Taylor Heisey! You're not having her over my cold, dead body. You got to rip my cold heart out and crush it from me. Over my dead body, you getting her. You basically would, when it comes to us, you basically would have to do what has to do on the traitors. Open the penguin! Rip out its heart! That was one of Sharky's favourite missions, of course, because they basically killed stuffed penguins. Yeah, that should be a mission that scared the living lights out of me, because that's cruelty to stuffed animals, but actually it's a penguin, so do you know what? Fair game. Fair game. I would have hated to have done that mission because of going around, spinning around on the merry-go-round. Oh, I would have been sick. I'm like, well, do you know what? It's not worth a shield. I'm off. Anyway, that's non-negotiable. We are having Taylor Heisey. She's staying a Frost. Whether you like it or not, that is non-negotiable. I've also got another non-negotiable player, and that is Kelly Panic. Yeah, now, she has had such a much improved season compared to last year. Of course, we've already done an episode covering that, and we were quite surprised. Yeah, very surprised by numbers last year compared to her this year. I kind of felt that if Kelly Panic, if she gets left on the block, if she is on the block, if she's up for grabs, those special teams will make her an offer she can't refuse. So, that is also non-negotiable. I would like to go with that. Lady, are you... Yeah, I just think I think K-Pat would be like Sophie Jakes. You leave a bumble, she's gonna get snapped up. So yeah, right. That's also there you go. Yeah, right. So who does the third selection? Oh no. Yeah, here we go. Here we go again. Here we go again. Right. So, shall I just list the various players who should be in live? That's a lot. We can go from there. Yeah. So obviously, Caroline Schofield. Yeah. Grace Sunwinkle. Yeah. Lee Steckline. Yeah. Are we even on Netmeyer's Upper Grubs? Don't know. Just stick those. I would say Dominic Peachy also would be one, but she's still out injured, so that doesn't really come into play. Yeah. But no, right. You two are gonna hate me for this, but I am seriously considering doing doing to Kendall what Boston did to Hillary. No! 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 Are you insane? Are you out of your mind? Are you taking the piss? I'm just saying, okay, right. Last year, obviously, no way, no chance. And also, I kind of felt last year we were in a position where we could easily give her one of the protection slots, no problem. I feel this time round, it's got nothing to do with being dethroned, by the way. I kind of feel this time round, we now need to start thinking about the future. We now need to start thinking about the years ahead when Kendall will not be a part of the team. Okay. I've said that Taya Heisey is a future Frost captain in waiting. Is now the time for her to take the seat? No. But I just think, for me, I wouldn't have a problem risking Kendall over the likes of, say, Grace Sunwinkle and Lee Steckline, particularly as I think Grace Sunwinkle is going to be a key part of this team going forward. I mean, she was Rookie of the Year in 2024. She was the inaugural recipient of the Rookie of the Year award. She's got kiddies! I don't care! She's got children! I don't care! That cannot be! No, I'm not having this. That cannot be a criteria to protect a player. But she's got her family! So, don't care. Well, you will know you don't have kids. Never have and never will. Don't want children, don't want pets. That is up there in my priorities when it comes to finding a partner. I thought your biggest priority to finding a partner was they must be sexy. That too. That's at the top. That's at the top. That's the number one priority. You got to be sexy. Then the other priorities are you got to be loving, caring, and respectful. And then the other priorities are you can't have kids or pets. And you also can't do alcohol, drugs, or smoking. Smoking I could tolerate because that would affect you more than me. But the other two, no. But I'm sorry, you cannot use the excuse she's got a family as a reason to protect her. You are out of your tree. You are out of your fucking tree. No, I'm gonna fight them on this. I'm not backing down. I might have to throw the tissue boxes at you. Good luck with that. We've got they're empty. Yeah, good luck with that. No. We did alright without her. I mean, because obviously, coming out of Malcotina, she was out for a few weeks. Because of injury. She wasn't on the team when we had our trip. And yet, the last game of the trip was her bobblehead night. And I felt this team, like how Montreal coped very well without Marie-Philippe Poulin for various points in the second half of the season, we managed quite well without Caroline Schofield. So I just think, honestly, you guys know I love Kendall. She's the reason why I picked Minnesota all those years ago to be my PWHL team. But with 4 teams in the mix, with 4 teams, looking to build their rosters, I just can't I just feel though, it pains me to do this. You know I love Kendall. This pains me to do it. But I think we might need to take the risk. We might need to take the risk. And if she survives the base 3, then great, we could just protect her there. But I just... No. You're mad. No, you are mad. Well, we're gonna have to come with a consensus because, of course, as you know, this has to be unanimous. No one can leave this room until this list is agreed on unanimously. So, what's it to be? What's it to be? You know the team will protect regardless. Yeah, well, that's their decision. You are out of your fucking mind. Okay, who would you dare suggest we protect over Kendall Coy Schofield? Kendall Coy Schofield. Who would you suggest? Grace Winkle. That's who I would suggest. If we're not going to protect our captain, I would then suggest we protect Grace Winkle because I believe she's got a big role to play in this team going forward. That is who I will put on the table. So, make the move. I can see what a valuable asset she will be in the future, but I just can't do it over Kendall. Well, we're gonna have. Well, I'm not backing down. I'm not backing down. I think this time we can run the risk of not protecting Kendall. And I do think when we get these first phase protection list, I do think there will be, like we saw last year, I do think there will be some shocks. So I'm not backing down. I love Kendall, but unfortunately I've got to put a business head on and go, it's probably best for the team we focus on the future of the team rather than what we've got at the present. So make your moves. Make your moves. No. No. I could consider Grace, but no one else. If you're not going to give us Ken, I would go with Grace, but no one else. Okay. Did I put her down? I'm going to put her down. I'm rolling. No! Objection! Objecting the overrule. Are you about to do that out of spite? You're insane. Do you think I want to do this? Do you honestly think I want to do this? Of course I want to keep Kendall Coy Schofield, but I just don't see, you know, if we want this team to stay competitive, we've got to think about the next gen. We've got to think about the next intake of Frost players coming in, you know. And I've already resigned to the fact that we are going to lose some really big star players. So the fact that one of these teams is San Jose kind of softens the blow for me a bit. But in my mind, you know, once we got eliminated, I already accepted that we're going to lose some really big star players. So, yeah. So I feel what we've got here. I would be happy with that, but I know what's going to happen. He's not going to agree out of spite. Ask the question then. Okay. So for our list, we've got down Taya Heisey, Kelly Panic, and Grace Sunwinkle. Are you happy to lock that in? As much as I would want count on that, for the sake of it, I will say confirm lock in. Yeah, I think Sunwinkle's the only player I would be happy to have protected over. Okay. Put up. No. Oh, I knew it! Oh! for God's sake! Then name a player. Name a player. God, I'm running out confused it is. You know full well we cannot leave this room until we can confirm this. It has to be unanimous. Come on. Come on, dear. Come on. No. Come on. No. No. Well. No. The both of you cannot put your foots down. My show. I'm the one who puts foot down. No. This is going to end. No. No. Name a player. Go on. Go on. Name a player. Name a player. Name a player who you think should be protected. Name a player. Go on. Can you do it? No. Don't think so. Are you two seriously prepared to shop our captain? Yeah. I don't want to do it. My heart does not want to do it. But my head is saying we cannot protect all our star talent. We're going to have to lose someone. Okay? My heart does not want to do it. Okay? But my head is saying to me, we are not going to be able to keep all of our star players. Someone has to give. And I'm thinking about the future of this team, who we want to get back in that World Cup finals and get another cup in the bank. Okay? Plus, the fact that this team managed quite well without Kendall for a brief spell actually shows me, oh, well, she was to them one day have mistakes. I think we could be fine. So, I'm not yielding. I am not yielding. So, you're going to have to yield, because I'm not. I am not. I'm the human. So, technically, I've got the power of authority. See? So, because I can end this segment right now with this list locked in. If you're... Right now. I can press the button. So, go on. No. I'm happy to lock that in. But it needs to be all three. It needs to be all three. So, come on. Unless you can say to a player, you're gonna have to let this one go. You're gonna have to let this one be locked in. So, go on. Name a player. Name a player. I'm not yielding. I'm not yielding. Fine, but you two are going to regret this. You two are going to regret this. Fine, lock it in. Fine, lock it in. No, if you're gonna have a hissy fit, we can't continue. Please tell me you did not just compare me to Megan McKay. Yeah, which makes me Joy Behar right now. And you have got a lot in common. You don't like the current administration. That's bad. So we're locking in? Right. Okay. Whew. So, oh god, it's like trying to get blow my stone. So for our protection list for the Minnesota Frost, we have got Taya Heisey, Kelly Paddock, and Grace Sunwinkle. Okay, let's take a quick pause, and we will then come back and we'll get on to the Montreal Victoire next, who are pretty much going to be straightforward, because it's just basically the exact same list we had last year. Yeah, exact same list we had last year. Okay, so moving on now to Montreal. This won't take long, will it? I don't think this will take long. I don't think there'll be any fights on this one. Because, basically, for phase 1, you could basically just take what we did last year and duplicate it. Yeah? Yeah? Not be fair? Yeah. Let's, come on. Let's be honest. Who is going to be the idiot that wants to split up Marie Thicklin and Laura Stacey? Could you imagine if that was to happen, the conversation that would have to have at the dinner table? Like, how's it going down in Montreal, Marie? Yeah, that's fine. Laura, how are you doing in Hamilton? Yeah, good. You really think Hamilton would take Laura Stacey over Marie Thicklin? Yeah, I would. think Montreal would if Daniel Sutherland was dead, did it? I think Montreal would protect Maroon, not Laura. Yeah, just wouldn't. Yeah, just wouldn't. Nah. I always think it would be so fascinating when you have hockey players as couples, see how would they cope with one of their partners on separate teams. That would be interesting to see how it happen. But yeah, no, I just can't see it. I just can't see Laura Stacey or Marie Fleetwood being split up. I can't see it happening. So those two are gone, and then your third slot, it has to go to WM because there's nobody. Right. Honestly, if you watched last year's Protection List episode, you know that me and Pluto suggested maybe risking it because at the time the Big 12 still had Lady Truly, and Lady, rightfully so, put the foot down. She was not having it. Now, she was adamant that it had to be Desbian who got that third protection slot. Yeah, because I just knew if you put a goaltender like Adeline Desbian on the block, absolutely 100%. The expansion team would snap her up immediately. And I could not see the logic behind either of you two. Now, I couldn't see the logic. Like, what were you two thinking? Because, well, what we were thinking was because they had Elaine Truly, because we didn't know that she was going to get shopped to Tio. Nope. Even though Tio desperately wanted her over Kristen Campbell. But we found Montreal's got a good 1A, 1B system. You know, you can risk one of them, you know. Yeah, and how big would Aaron Desmond would have meant if she was on our expansion team? That would have boosted their chances, rightly so. But I think this time around, obviously, I don't want to do that because Montreal hasn't got, like a lot of teams, they haven't got a strong backup or someone who could be seen as a 1B. That's the way I see it right now. So I think there is no choice. You have to lock in LSBN because, let's face it, the Big 12 will fall apart without her. Unless they could draft a decent netminder in Detroit, they would fall apart without her. So I think for this first phase, it's pretty obvious who Montreal's going to protect. Desbian, Stacey, Glenn, Locke. Locke. And they were huge players in getting Montreal to the finals this year. Huge players. Huge. Without a doubt, it was them. Without them, Montreal would not have got out so far as again. So plus you could argue Desmond was a huge factor as to how Montreal managed to get the lead title because everybody thought it was going to be Boston until those last 2-3 weeks when Montreal was just quick on that. Yeah, I mean, how do you guys see where we're recording the point? At least 11, maybe more than that. Might be more. Yeah. But for argument's sake, shall we at least pretend to debate other players? Shall we just leave it up for argument's sake? If it was going to be those three, which other players would you throw to me? Remember, we've got 2 rounds of this. We've got 2 rounds of protection lists to do. So memorise some of these players, because we might be bringing it up again, like, say, 2 weeks' time. So, any other players you want to throw in the mix that you would potentially protect? You know who I'm going to say. Would it be Evan Ambrose, Pluto? Oh, it's back again! It's back again! Wow, that's twice now. Is it the same band? Oh, more Mr. Whippy! I need one of the week I've had. Oh, that's twice now in the space of what? 5-10 minutes the ice cream bars roll around this street. Give it another 10. It might do a third one. Ricky's doing like a whip around. I really want a Mr. Whippy. Why don't they do Mr. Whippy in tubs? Because you would end up with being hospitalised. Rude! Now, I did say last year I did fear that Montreal might lose both K Bars and Ambrose, and they saw you coming. They saw you coming. Much more. Oh no, we're not having that. As soon as Montreal's 4 protection slot was open, they went in and they saw you coming from a mile away. They did. They saw you coming. They thought, I'm not having this stuffed dog dog dictate who's going from our team. I'm not having that. Yeah, but it might be game, set, and match this time around. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because obviously, there's no other sort of massive players big star players to then be like her safety net. Yeah. It's like in Big Brother where you take out a big target, the target then goes on your back. Yeah. I'd definitely be someone who easily would be high targeted for expanded teams. Maybe Hamilton, since we brought them up in the competition already. Yeah. Abby Rock is also. Oh, I'll be so shocked if Detroit doesn't take Abby Rock. For me, if I was Manon Run, I definitely don't pronounce that name right. I'll look it up. Maybe we get to the draft, I'll probably learn it properly, but because we'll probably take a draft. But yeah, but if I was GM Manon for Detroit, and me, would be thinking, what can I do to get Abby Rock to sign a deal in Hockey Town? What do I need to do? She's a Michigan product, so it would just make sense to get a big star, a hometown star on your roster against the number season. Not that the Toy Scout Poles getting the numbers out, but would help Matt a bit. Yeah. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Oh yeah. I'll be very surprised when we come back to when we get to phase 3. If she's still there, I'll be so shocked. I'll be shocked. Yeah. Abby Rock definitely. Nicole Garson is number 1. Yeah, she also has to be some, big numbers for. You have to wonder if she only going to make the trade when you're with the third pick, would Montreal still have got to get Goslin? I think they probably still would have. Yeah, I think they still would have. Yeah. But it was a huge. It was harder last year. It was a huge steal from Montreal. Because obviously New York basically went played shenanigans to get Katie O'Brien. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Gosling's also been a huge impact. I think Montreal might be able to hold on to her. I think Montreal might be able to get away with that one, but if you are fighting to put on the list for phase 3, I'll happily go ahead. So obviously, whoever gets protected in phase 1, they'll definitely be protected for the entire process. So we won't need to worry about that. So basically, for phase 3, you get to protect 3 additional players. So what you get protected in phase 1, it is still on your roster by phase 3. You can have to then go and lock them in. I think one of those 3 probably will still be Montreal when it gets to phase 3. Oh, what a massive loss that would be if both Ambrose and Rock go in the early phases. Yeah. Well, I think with Abby Rock, that is who Detroit should use their franchise offer with. Yeah. Do it. Yeah. How much do you have to try and get a hometown star to sign with your team? How many options do we get to do that? So if I GM Manon, that's what I do. Remember, you get one for each front team, so I will do it. Yeah. So, should I just start locking it in? Yeah, put this in first at the top. I'll lock this in. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. Because I think it's fairly obvious. With that. So we'll start this now, shall we? Yeah. As a reminder to you guys, if you didn't catch last year's list, it has to be unanimous. Hence why it's lock-in. Hence why this is the lock-in. It has to be unanimous by all 3. It has to be a unanimous decision. Otherwise, we can't move on to the next team or even leave the room without it. These 2 basically make me out to be like I'm the evil child catcher from Shishi Bang Bang. Well, did you bring drinks and snacks? No. Well then, child catcher you are. Oh, he's a black cloak with a hat, bowler hat, and hat. Robinsons! Oh, yeah. He wasn't that bad, despite being a very goofy villain. But then it was the late noughties. Yeah, I think it was 2007 or 2006. It was definitely before you. It was either 2006 or 2007. But it was kind of late 2000s. Yeah, so, yeah, right, but I'm just gonna... yeah, for lesbian, we are absolutely locking in that now. Just have to check how to spell. Because I'm bad spelling nasty names. Tell you what, let's do it. Tell you what. Yeah. So I'm just checking how to spell, because obviously I'm really bad at spelling names. Yeah, and I'm also bad at pronouncing them. But I do better try to pronounce than I do at spelling. So I just need to check how to spell it. And where the dash needs to go in her name. Yeah, so... Right, so Amanade SBN, we're locking her in definitely at number 1. The question is, where do you want to rank Stacey and Pelen? Where do you want to lock them in? Are you making us ask top or bottom? No! Pluto! Plus they're ladies! How would that even work? Do you really want to know that, George? No! He would have if he was all man. Pluto! You are this close to getting put in the sin bin. You're this close. You are this close. If it was a regular show, you'd be out by now. Right. Oh, I spelled it wrong. ESBIN. Well, I'll do that one more time. DSEINS. Yep. Put Stacey second. Yeah, okay, yeah. Right, lock her in, right, yeah. So Stacey second. And then put Pelen in. We'll put Pelen third. Well, you're meant to be there. Right, where's her dash? Stop it! Stop it! There is a long way to go here, guys. Okay. Do not make this difficult than it already has to be. Oh, it's like, oh. Okay, so stop it. Right, just locking those. I'm locking these in now. I'm just locking them in. Dirty bastards, a lot of the both of you. What did I do? Right. Well, George, I've got spellings right. Not talks to Barbara. What? as a candidate. Oh! Yeah, I think... Right, can I just lock this in? I'll bring it up. Right, yeah. I think with Hayes Gamora, I think if you didn't have to protect both Pullen and Stacey, I definitely would say you would have swapped, dare I say, swapped Stacey out for Gamora. Oh! Happy. Oh! You sick bastard. You would do it. I would do it, you know. Yeah. What do you think of Samara's chances of not getting taken? Not going. Probably quite low, because she has been another impactful player for the Big 12 this season. I don't know. Detroit probably might snag her up. Yeah. So, I think if Gamora survives, if she survives to phase 3, then I think, yeah, she might then definitely be who we put in first on the phase 3 protection list. But for this stage, this first phase, you've got to go with kind of like the obvious ones first, and then you go, right, who then is left, and you think, right, I'm going to get that back up, secure. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, Skamora is, yeah, potentially another player who we could potentially, you know, think of. And this is the problem with the Big 12 having, like, so many star study players on their roster. It means that players like Rock, Skamora, and even Gosling, we can't consider protecting in this stage because you have to do Pullen and Stacey because they're not going anywhere. Now, no, they've still got a lot of fight left in them. So, yeah. So, Montreal, when it comes to expansion, Montreal, you are your own worst enemy. You really are. Yeah. So, but it does kind of, in a way, make our job a little bit more easier. Doesn't it, boys and girls? But yeah, so just make that what you will. Yeah, you're right. You're right, boys. Skamara is another one of those players who we should be talking about protecting, but we can't afford to protect in this first phase. If she survives and is still on the team come phase 3, then I think you can make the case to protect her there. But yeah, right. So are we right? So I just need to, I'll just run you through and then we'll confirm this to lock in. So for the Montreal Victoire, we've got Anna Desbienne, Laura Stacey, and Marie Fleet-Plen as the 3 that we would protect from the Victoire in phase 1. Are we happy with that? Yes. Good. Right. Good. Okay. There we go. Good. So those are our protection picks for the Montreal Victoire in phase 1 of the 2026 expansion process. When we come back, we will move on to... Oh, this is going to be tricky. When we come back, we're going to move on to the York Sirens. Oh, their fans, they're not looking forward to this. No. They're like, please don't split up our family. Well, tough shit we are. Yeah, that's going to be tricky. Yeah. So those are our picks for the Victoire. And when we come back, we will move on to the New York Sirens. Okay, I generally feel for the York Sirens, we're going to really struggle here, because apart from Sarah Fillier, who else do you seriously protect right here, right now? Yeah. Because the Sirens have got a lot of young prospects, they've got a lot of young up-and-coming talent, and unfortunately, there's no way they can protect them all. The Sirens fans have been the ones that have been dreading this expansion the most, because they feel they're the ones that are the most vulnerable, which is fair dues, but we're all vulnerable. Yeah. But they feel they've been like online being like, oh, don't split up our family, don't come for our family. Ah, sod family. Yeah, sod family. Who needs them? Sod family. Yeah. But I think you could just lock in Sarah there right now. Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, let's do that. Let me get set up. Okay. But this is going to be tricky. This is going to be really, really tricky. Okay, so bear with me 2 seconds while I just do that. So we're going to lock in. So we are going to lock in Sarah Fillier right here, right now. So let's go on to York's roster. Right. Let's see. Just want to make sure I've got spellings right. Right, there we go. So it's there for the A. Gonna lock her in. Okay, so do you two want to just remote while I just oh dear. Yeah, I just need to cool off. You two want to... In fact, do you two want to explain why we're throwing Fillier in to the mix? Yeah, well, I mean, our numbers haven't been as good as they were last season. Yeah. But I just feel... I'm sure we can all agree. Yeah. She's one of those generational players who you just can't really afford to give up that easily. And I just think if she gets put on the block, if she's made vulnerable, she'll just be snapped up straight away. Yeah. That is. So let's hop to the water, carry on. Yeah, so I just feel like it'd be crazy if the Sirens not protect her, like how it would be crazy for us not to protect Taya Heisty. Yep. So, but I'm just trying to think who would be those other players that New York would then be seeing, well, you can't afford to lose. Yeah. I think that's the problem. So, Stephanie is a natural, she is a natural you must protect, but the question then is, right, well, we've got all these other players who be seen by fans as massive losses if they go, but who would you run the risk and let go? Yeah, this is the conundrum, and I think that's largely going to come back. Josh? Yeah, I'm going to come back. I'm afraid I think we're in for a bit of a heat wave this weekend here in Blighty. Oh, no. And we're not even ending the spring yet! We've technically got one more week to go of spring. Let us still have that before you want to give us your nasty heat rays. Not on. Not on. And as you guys might have known from past years, this room gets very, very warm very, very easily. make it very, very hard to record a hockey show in the summer. That's why I'm saying to you two, I'm insisting that I get t-shirts with all the team's logos on, so in the summers we can have that instead, because that will not be as ridiculously bad as it is wearing a jersey right now. Yeah, so I kind of feel like you two. I kind of feel like Sophie is one of those players where you can't really afford to lose, because she's like your face of the franchise. Yeah, she's had a bit of a downward season this year, but, you know, it's understandable. I mean, you know, when you have such a stellar rookie season like she did last year, you know, and especially as well be the number one overall pick last year, it's not a surprise that it's down. Yeah, so, Leggy, I want to approach something with you, because I know that you brought it up a lot throughout this past season, and that is called the situation with Kenny Osborne. Do the Sirens, can the Sirens afford to risk not protecting Kenny Osborne, or do they have to waste a pick, waste a protection slot on Kenny Osborne? It's an interesting one, because I think we're all surprised, but mainly me, how Greg Bargo basically heavily leaned on Kenny Osborne. Now, it's great that he's identified a starting netminder, but also at the same time, I know you've alluded to when we talked about Boston over the years, you've got to also find a reliable backup, and I don't think he's found that. So I would not be surprised if New York has to use one of its protection slots on Kenny Osborne, because they don't trust who's backing her up. And let's be honest, she actually did keep this team in a lot of those games. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the games besides in this year were quite close. That's because Osborne kept them in. Taking some of the ones against us. Yeah, absolutely. Taking that one that was April Fool's Day. Yep. I wish that was a Fool's game, but it wasn't. Yeah. But yeah, so do we want to use it? I'm thinking more about Brian and Captain Okabar would be who I would go for. Again, is that if you're on your own? Yeah, I thought so. I wouldn't do Osborne. I would run the risk, because I think there are other netminders who are going to be vulnerable in the process, and that's what I think will get taken before her. Okay. And I think Osborne's someone you could easily protect in phase 3 if she survives to phase 3. Right now, you've got to think, who is the future of this team, and that is who you protect, especially how next season New York is going to be so hungry to get in the playoffs. Now, they are still the only inaugural 16 that has not made it to the playoffs. Okay? You've got Seattle, Vancouver who are going to have something to prove next year. You've got 4 new teams coming in who also feel like they're going to shot the playoffs. So New York's going to be so hungry. So you've got to think, right, who's the future? Who can get me that playoffs? I think they can, and I think County Knockback can. Okay, but can O'Brien do it? Because I wasn't that too... Right, despite her being my projected first overall pick last year in Ottawa, I don't think she lived up to the high promises that she was expected to deliver. Yeah. So would I use all my slots on her? I don't know. I would be... Here's what I'm prepared to do. I would be happy to not put Osborne down if it means we have to protect County Knockback. I'd be down with that. Yeah. Because I kind of feel New York could take... We know at least one team has got to take a risk with netminders. Toronto has to. Vancouver has to. Maybe also Seattle does. Yeah. But yeah. Now, New York might want to risk Osborne, it might not. But I think... But our lists... Yeah, I'd be happy not to put Osborne down in favour of County Knockback. Because I think... You know... The Sirens made a big song and dance in getting County Knockback last in the draft. I'm not sure how many people going into the draft, expected her to be drafted first overall last year. During the draft, it of course kind of made sense because of those Colgate connections with Greg Bargo. But at the time going into the draft, it wasn't really the consensus it was going to be her. But she has had an incredible season. Maybe not done enough to get Rookie of the Year, but we'll see. Yeah. So I'm definitely all in favour of that. Yeah. For me, I've definitely got Carson on my list, but I don't know. No, I'm up for it. I'm definitely up for it. I think, yeah, she had a very good, decent rookie campaign, and I think if she can stay with the Sirens, she could build on that, and maybe she could be the key back to getting this team in the playoffs. So I would definitely. Yep, put her, okay. Right, this will take me a while when it comes to spelling. So let's just bear with. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment, kids. Talk amongst yourselves. Right, oh, that's a bad start. Right, here we go. So it's going you two start thinking about who the third slot should go to. Right, got it. I've got an idea, but I don't know if you two are going to agree with it. Right, well, hold it in. I just need to do this. I just need to get the spelling right because I will get this wrong. God, it takes me forever to type on this on my phone. By the way, it's a lot more easy on my laptop. Autocorrect's not helpful either. Nope, it's spelled. Okay, that's not helpful. It just autocorrect me as well while I was doing the typing. Okay, UNK. The rest I've got it. Yeah, the rest I've got it. Right. Go on, Blur. You've got an idea. Who do I throw into the mix? She's about. They won't. Oh, I know where he's going. They won't do it. No, they won't. Oh, but Casey O'Brien? No, they won't. No, they won't. No. But, I mean, that was a big shock, obviously, at the trailer line, swapping her out for Jinsey Rose. But given how Vancouver took her in the expansion draft, and then we managed to... Please do not quote Ross from Friends! Do not! He said it all season. We've had to pull this all season long. Do not do it now and make this harder than it already is. We already had to do a heat wave. I've already had to strip off. Don't quoting Ross from Friends. Do not go there. But surely, if you're the Sirens, you'd have to be, wow, the Frost were lucky to get her back. Do we want to dare risk losing that to a really decent team that could potentially cause ruckus? I think so. She won't do it though. Look who's on that roster over her. Okay, in fact, let's bring it up. Okay. You got Casey O'Brien there. You got Kate Osborne, as mentioned, but we've agreed we're not gonna protect her. You've also got Kristen O'Neill, who I think would be a good shout. Claire DeGeorge, maybe. Emma Beckler. So they're not gonna protect Isabel over the likes of that. For me, I would say if we're not gonna do O'Brien and we're not gonna do Osborne, I would do O'Neill. Yeah, I think for me it would have to be either O'Brien or it would have to be O'Neill. And I think Kristen O'Neill was a more bigger acquisition because she was one of the trade acquisitions New York did on the draft floor last year. That was not the one that shocked Pluto. The Air Shelter was the one that shocked Pluto into next season. Yeah. But I think Kristen O'Neill has kind of fitted in quite well with the Sirens, and I think if you can keep up a player like that, that's a good leader for the young talent you're going to get in the draft. So I would look at O'Neill maybe over O'Brien. I didn't think I would be saying that during the season, but I kind of think, be a risk. I know, it would be a huge risk to not protect O'Brien. I know. But what's the consensus? I would pick O'Neill O'Brien. And if O'Brien manages to buy to base 3, put him on the list in base 3. Wow, I've already got 2 Stars players already on the list for base 3. Right, okay. So are we leaning more towards Kristen O'Neill? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, like you two said, she had a very good season with the Flyers today. It slotted in quite nicely. I'd compromise on that. Okay. We've not even talked their captain either, Mike Zandy Hart. Or was nah. Stick O'Neill. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, we'll stick with Kristen O'Neill. Right, we get that sorted. Don't pay much attention to last year, do we? Sandy Hart. No, she was not on our protection lists for the Sirens last year. I think she was one of the few captains that we looked over. If I remember rightly, and of course you can go back on my Instagram and check. I think we protected a large bulk of the captains last year. There wasn't that many captains we support. Nope, not protecting them. Yeah, so it's gonna. Right, okay. So, are we locking this in? It's double L, isn't it? Oh, no. Yes. So, it's only do one with me on here. Bloody predictive text. Right. So, I'll just go through it. So, on our list for the York Sirens, we have got Sarah Ferrier, Christina Carlton-Rockeber, and Kristen O'Neill. Are we happy for me to lock those in? Yes, I'm happy. Confirm, lock it in. I will also confirm as well. Yeah, okay, there we go. Right, so it's a bit tricky. That was a bit tricky because the Sirens have got so many players that they could consider protecting. And also we have the Heat Web as well, so that's not helpful either. But we have got, for the New York Sirens, on our protection list, we've got Sarah Ferrier, Christina Carlton-Rockeber, and Kristen O'Neill. That one might not be a correct one, but it's our list, so we'll do what the fuck we like. Right, next up, it's the first of the Ontario clubs. It's the Ottawa Charge, and I think quite a few of the players we put, like with Montreal, I think some of the players we had protected last year might be protected again this year, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, but we'll take a break, and then we're going to get into it with the Ottawa Charge. Okay, so I think Ottawa is pretty much straightforward, but I'll see what you two think. I think I've got it. I think it should be Gwen Fitz, Rory Gilday, Emily Clark. Job done. Oh! But hang on, what about Jocelyn the Rock? What about Bianca? That's what I said! What about Bianca? That's what I said! I'm not saying I think it might be straightforward, but let's see what you two think. Claire Phillips has got to be a lot, because if you lose her, then that's your stuff. Yeah. So, just put her in now, so right. Yeah, okay, right, there we go, straight up. Look at that, straight in there. Yeah, we are straight in there, so I'm going to do that now. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it, how, you know, last year we were all saying, could she be a target for expansion teams, and then, obviously, takes over from Smashfire at the end, during the second half of the regular season, and then earns herself a protection slot, and then, well, we all knew that Ottawa was going to lose netminder. Yeah. The question was it Mash? Was it going to be Phillips? That was the question. Yeah. So, and right now I don't think there's anybody who could be an easy replacement for Phillips if she was to be taken by expansion team. So I think it's job done. Yeah. So, Roy Gilday. Now, she has been, George, one of your suggestions for Rookie of the Year. I felt that, Ottawa did brilliant with their first round pick. Rory Gilday, a brilliant selection. The crowd that were in there were all, enthusiastic for her. Yeah, they were winning her on. Yeah, so you can tell this is a player that's going to fit in really well in that organisation. So I think it would be seen as a stupid move to then lose her. So I think Rory Gilday for me is somebody that I would protect if I was thinking for the Ottawa Charge. She would protect. I don't know if she will, because obviously we are recording this before we get those nominations for Rookie of the Year. I don't know if she's going to still make the cut or not. I don't know. But if I was doing a ballot and I had to nominate, I would nominate Rory Gilday for Rookie of the Year. But what do we need to do? I think she has shown brilliance. She is, a diary of the Ross. She's a star in the making. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you give her a few more years in the league and she will find a way and will be one of those star players we'll talk about for years to come. Yeah. So, I think for Ottawa, particularly how we're losing Dallas Sadakli still in the back of my mind from last year, which was one of your big shocks from Ottawa. Whereas you would have thought, well, hang on, losing Ashton Bell should have been a big shock, because that was the first pick of the expansion draft. But Sadakli was also a big hit. You thought, really? She's going? Yeah. So, we agree on that? Oh, great. This is brilliant. Look at this! Look at this! This is getting brilliant. It won't always be like this, by the way, guys. Look at this. Right, let me just check the spelling of her surname. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the third pick. You're saying Emily Clark. But hold on, what about, as I mentioned, Jocelyn the Rock? What about Brianne Jenner? What about Gabby Hughes? What about Rebecca Leslie? Who has provided for Ottawa in the postseason? Yeah. It's just, yeah. I think for Ottawa, it's tricky, and you are going to lose some really good players. Again, it's just the way the cookie crumbles for Ottawa. But for me, I would go, just personally, I would go Emily Clark if it was just me, but this has to be an agreement. This has to be unanimous. The Rock and Jenna are coming close to retirement age, so I wouldn't bother wasting a protection slot. Oh, they are. They are. Don't you have a go at me? You're one who brought it up when we did Canada's roster back in January. You're one who brought it up. Okay, so I think maybe give it to either Emily Clark or maybe even, dare I say, Gabby Hughes. But I'm being more to Emily Clark. I'm also trying to think about who would Ottawa more likely protect more, and I think they would go with Emily Clark, and I think Clark, Gilday, Phillips would be a good foundation. We're looking at, what's going to happen in the future, and yes, I think that would be the smart way to go about it if it was just me. But obviously, you two need to agree. You've agreed with the first two so far. I just need to know, do you agree with the other? I mean, Andy Clark is a real good shout. She has been a very good, effective player for the Charge over these past 3 years. Also came big in game 1 and blasted his bios. She did. So I mean, honestly, you could make a case for Gabby Hughes, Brianne Jenner, Jocelyn the Rock. You could make those cases, but at the same time, I'm also thinking, it wouldn't feel right. Emily Clark was not on the Charge. It would just feel wouldn't feel right. Also to her house as well. I know there's plenty of names that you could mention with pretty much every team, but we've got to go for what we think would be what we would do if we were in that GM's seat. What would we do? As you guys know, we might not get these right. I mean, we're still surprised about how many we did get right last year. But yeah, so I just feel. I mean, I think you did at the start of the segment. You did give us 3 really good names. But it's just, I also want to just for pity's sake, for argument's sake, just throw in one or two others. Just want to throw them in there. Yeah. And you have thrown 2 good names in terms of Jocelyn Rock and Brianne Jenner, but I just feel like they're coming more towards the end of their time, the end of their careers. They are almost at 40 now. I'm thinking in terms of for the long run, especially if the Charge, if they want to be seen as a team that is likely to be a cup contender, which they have been for the last 2 seasons now. Not so much in their first year, but the last 2 definitely. You need to think of the future, and I just feel like Gilday's the future, and Emily Clark could be that future with us. So that's my kind of theme towards it. But if you two will try and dare argue against it, I will listen to it and we'll see what happens. Yeah. So I'm thinking. I do think it's a good pick. Yeah. I personally would be happy with all 3 of those suggestions you gave us, George. I would be very happy with all 3 of them. I say lock those in. I'm happy to go with Emily Clark because I just mean Emily Clark's been a huge impact for the Ottawa Charge over these last seasons. I think it would be a bit wrong if she wasn't protected. And if we're thinking about who could then potentially get the thing after Jenna, it could be her. Yeah. So why would you want to risk losing a potential future face of your franchise, a potential future captain of your franchise, for the sake of keeping Jenna the Rock, who, as you said, George, might only have 1 more, maybe 2 more seasons in the bank? Yeah. That's my way of looking at it. Yeah. So I'm happy to lock that in if you're happy. If we're all happy to lock it in. Yeah. So I'll put it down. Then obviously remember because we can't. Obviously, I'll put it down, but then we can then change if it needs to be changed. So, what are you feeling? Feel what, boy? Let me just put it in. Then we can. I'll come to you. Okay, what are you feeling? Go. I think it's a good pick, but I also could argue for The Rock or Jenna or even dare I say Gabby Hughes. But I think right, okay, I'm prepared to compromise. I think if Gabby Hughes can survive to phase 3 on the Charge, then I think she has to be locked in. Okay. So this actually didn't take that long because I had these 3 pretty much on the top of my head from the start, and I didn't think these 2 would agree so easily. So this is good. They won't all be like this, okay? We have still got. I mean, after the Charge, we've got Seattle, Tio, and Vancouver to do. So that might. All those are gonna be tricky. So it might not be this easy. So for the other Charge, we've got Gwyneth Phillips, Rory Gilday, and Emily Clark. Are we happy for me to lock those in? I'll probably go first. Yes, I'm happy. Lock that. Confirm. Ready? I am very happy with that. You did good there. I'm very happy with that. I think we both could agree those are good picks. So lock that in. Happy to confirm. Okay. I'm good with that too. Wasn't that easy? Too easy, maybe you'd say. Maybe a bit too easy. But hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. So our protection list for our charge is Gwyneth Phillips, Rory Gilday, and Emily Clark. Okay, there you go. That did not take long at all. That was a bit very easy. Okay, we'll come back. It's the first of last year's expansion teams, Seattle. Now this could be tricky, because obviously with Seattle, Vancouver, the LA Course just joined the league this time last year. Yeah, so it's quite, and of course with those teams not having done as well as they could have done, it's quite hard to really gauge, who you could keep and who you will maybe lose. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah. When we come back, we're going to move on to Seattle. Alright, going to move on to Seattle. Okay. The first of last year's 2 expansion teams. So I think for the Seattle Toronto, like with Vancouver, this is going to be very tricky because, they've only just completed their first season. They did not meet those high expectations that were put on them, going into that inaugural season. A lot of people had Seattle as maybe as a playoff team. Not as much as a cup contender, but definitely a playoff team. Yeah. So this is going to be hard because there's a lot of firepower on that team, and I just think, what do we do? What are we gonna do? Plus, can we just get Harry out of the way first? Yeah. Can they afford to keep Harry? Because we all remember last year when those protection lists came out, as you watched the reaction. Yeah. So it's called Do Not Touch. It's called the episode from last year. You need to go and check back. It's called Do Not Touch, and that was when we revealed in live time. We revealed the official protection lists that have been submitted to the PWHL. They got released an hour before we were gonna come on record. So I got the article I got the article loaded up on my phone. I did not look at it before we started recording. These two did not look at it before we started recording. Nobody saw it. And we were going to do a live reaction on the show. So you know how shocked we were that the Boston Fleet did not protect their captain and one of Team USA's all-time greatest Harry Knight. You knew our reactions were shocked. Yeah. Now, could that happen a second time? I don't know. Because for a team like Seattle, you've got a long way to go. This team finished in 8th place. They didn't even win the goal plan. Okay. I don't think Seattle is a playoff contender right now. Ooh, I'm sorry, I don't. I don't think Seattle is at the position where you can compete for the World Cup. So, does Seattle, knowing that Harry hasn't got that much time left before she chooses to call quits and head at the States and enters the Hockey Hall of Fame, does Seattle not protect her, let her go to a team that can give her that World Cup? Yeah, like a mercy kill. Yeah, like a mercy killing that I've seen done plenty of times, in the AX before. Like, my Sharks are a perfect example. I mean, we gave Barclay Goodrow to Tampa in 2020 because we knew that we were not in a position to get in that Stanley Cup, and he definitely deserved a Stanley Cup, and he did get one with Tampa. Did he get 2 with Tampa, or did he get just 1? I remember. But he definitely got at least one in that time frame. Yeah, I mean, she has made it very clear that she wants to stay in Seattle. Well, a lot of them made it clear they want to stay in Seattle. So that just shows how good a market Seattle is. It just hasn't lived up to the high expectations on the ice that we know they can. Yeah. So, but does Seattle do it? Do you in this first phase? Yeah. Do you waste do you give up a slot in order to protect Hillary? At the very least, you risk losing a star player who could be a future maker in your team that could help you get the World Cup. Yeah. That's why I want to do Harry first, and then we can move on to some of the more likely candidates, because I do think Hannah Belka's a lock them. Well, we'll come back to that. So what do we do? Do we want to? I don't know. Do I want to take the risk of being the same situation we were in last year? We put her on the list, and then oh no, she's not on the list. And she's made it clear she's not done. Yeah, she's made it clear she's not done. Obviously, she knows Seattle's general manager Megan Turk, because obviously she was involved with the Boston organization to start with. So I could actually see Seattle protecting her. But would that help me in the long run? I don't know. Do you two want to name me other names apart that we could maybe put into conversation that might help? So Hannah Belker's one. Michaela Grant Mercer's got to be another. Yeah. Anna Murphy. Yeah. Alex Carpenter. Yeah. It's just right. What do we want to do? I don't know. What do we do? Do we give everyone? What do we do? Can we just lock in Hannah Belker and get it done with? Yeah, let's make it easy. Let's lock her in. Yeah. Well, it has to be agreed. I think this team would be nothing at Hannah Belker. They really missed her that tail end of the season. Like, obviously, she missed the second half of the season due to injury, and I felt that's really what then did Seattle in, because before that, she was really producing a lot of firepower. She was really getting the numbers for Seattle. And then that injury happened, and they missed it. So I think for Seattle, you need a player like Hannah Belker on your team, especially with his helpers, I would say. Yeah, okay, right. That helps us out a bit. Now, I want you to make the case for Hannah Murphy, because this is a player that's really caught your eye throughout the season. So I'm not saying it's a lock-in yet on the list, but I just want you to at least make your case. Because even if we don't have her put down on this list, she could potentially be put down on the phase 3 list. So I want you to make the case now, and then we can bookmark this, we can then come back to it if she is still available to be protected by the torrent. Okay. So I'm going to give you... Oh god, there's so many other players we've not mentioned. Wilgren, Barnes... A lot of... Sadagny! Oh my god, the list goes up. There are so many players that we could name from Seattle that we could consider protecting. But, I mean, you look at it, you think, how did they not gel? When you look at all the star players, the star titles on this roster, you think, how did this not gel? Right, come on. Seriously? Seriously? Right. So I want you to make the case for Hannah Murphy. I'm not saying we're going to lock her in, but we need to at least make your case, because this player has really caught your eye. So over to you, boy. Okay, you ready for me to do it? Yep. Okay. Yeah, so in the early start of the season, Hannah Murphy was a real surprise for Seattle. I mean, you know how they had Corinne Schroeder, who they picked from New York in the exclusive sign window. Yeah, signed. Yeah. They signed her from New York. Yeah. And you thought that was who could be the season starter in netmind for Seattle. But Hannah Murphy, her thing they did draft in Ottawa. She came in, and those first few starts, she was really impressive. Okay, she struggled towards the end of the season, but at one point I thought, could we see a rookie netminder get the Rookie of the Year award, maybe? You did think that at one point, yeah. I mean, this is a really rock-solid netminder, and someone to have like a 1A, 1B scenario, which I think you can see a lot of teams in PHL do. So, I'm just thinking, can Seattle afford to risk both their netminders? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Can they afford to do that? I don't know. I mean, it'd be a huge risk for Seattle to take, but it might be the risk they'll have to take because they've got all this star talent in the particular the forwards and defenders. Yeah. But she really did surprise me in those first sort of like 5-6 weeks of the regular season. No, she really was a surprise batter, and I felt she could have done wonders if Seattle was able to find a groove, find a way. Yeah. Yeah. So I would. Could we consider it? I don't know. I don't know if me they are convinced enough to put her in. Remember, it's got to be unanimous. So I think she's the kind of player who I would in phase 3 I would protect, not in phase 1. I think for phase 1, recognise who your key players are to take you forward, and then get them locked in. Then you can go back to who you wanted to protect but couldn't. For phase 3, yeah. I'm surprised you haven't brought up Sadakni, because Sadakni was a big snub for you on Kyler's roster. So. Oh yeah, you generally felt, and in fact, we played Seattle not long after Canada announced its roster, and Sadakni did produce in that game, and you just felt, well, a lot of Canada snubs produced in that game, and I just thought, that's another one, that's another one, that's another one. Yeah. So I think, yeah, you gotta remember, she was a high pick for Ottawa in the 2024 draft. I think she was a second overall pick in 2024. Yeah. Yeah, because Ottawa picked second overall in 2024. Yeah, so she was Ottawa's first round pick in 2024. I was surprised to see her go. But she wasn't happy with Ottawa, so that is a player that I would protect, but I don't know if you two feel the same. I would not. I don't want to give on Alex Carpenter, because I did feel this is a player that one day could be a future captain if Harry chooses to step down. So I would protect her. At the very least, we've got to have a big name put on this list. So it's either got to be Barnes, it's got to be Knight, or it's got to be Carpenter. At least one. Well, but at least what I would say Alex Carpenter. Yeah. Okay, good. We can lock that in? Yeah, good, right. Then here comes the question mark of the third pick. Who's that going to be? Tough. Yeah. It's so tough. I generally do think this was going to be harder than it was last year. And last year we only had 16 to do. Last year we only had the knuckle 6 to do. It was just 3 names. This time around it's 8 teams and it's 2 sets of 3s, because obviously when we get to phase 3 we will be back up here again, going through who we want to protect in phase 3. Yeah, this is really oh god, it's so hard. I think Sadakni is one of those players who you can keep around for on your team. She could potentially be one of those big names. It's just, can Seattle afford to keep her? I don't know. Well, we've got Hannah Bilker there on the list. We've got Alex Carter on the list. Now, Bilker, along with the Grant Mentes and Knight, did produce the big guns for Seattle. I'm not saying protect all 3, because you can't. No way can you protect all 3. So we've got one. We've got the one that we would protect. And of course, I know Toronto fans will fight us about that. So, do we dare leave Knight off? But would that make us look like hypocrites? Because last year we basically said, don't you dare leave Harry unprotected. Now here we are 12 months later, we're saying, actually, you know what? Maybe you can afford to lose her. Well, it's because it's Seattle. And Seattle's a young team. You know, they've got plenty of time, but at the end of the day, what you want to do? Oh, I don't know! I don't know. I really don't know what to do. What do I do? Someone, oh god, someone tell me what to do now, please. Someone. Oh my god. I hate doing this! I hate doing this. Why did we have to do this again so soon? Oh god. It's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse when we get to 16 Ts, and 20 Ts, and 24. Because I do believe we will get to 24 within the next 20, 25 years. I do believe that. When you're rotting in your 50s. Please don't make it worse! Oh, God. Help. No, I mean it. Help. I don't know what we need to do. What we should do. Because I mean, literally last year the expansion draft, right? Seattle just went in full guns blazing and loaded up on talent, and now we know you're gonna have to give some of that away. It's like, what are we doing here, guys? What do we do? Like, somebody tell me, what do we do? Who do we do? I remember, this has to be unanimous. It has to be a unanimous decision. We have to agree on this, otherwise we can't leave. We can't move on to the next team, otherwise. Oh, I hate this. Ugh. I don't know what to do. Oh god. I don't know what to do. Oh god. Alright. I think. Yeah. One of us is gonna have to say a name, and we're just gonna have to agree on it. I could see Sadakli being a big name in the future. The question is, would it be with Seattle, or would it be elsewhere? Would you start with Sadakli? Because I was so surprised that she left Orwell last year. I'm surprised that was one of Seattle's their second. Yeah. Because Harry was their first, and then Sadakli was their second, and that was a huge shock. Especially how Ottawa had literally just went to the Water Cup finals and got very, very close to winning the Water Cup. Yeah. So that was a bit of a shock. So I would say Sadakli, but of course it has to be agreed upon. It has to be agreed. Lady, help out her. I do think Sadakli's a good player. I think it would be mad for Seattle not to keep Harbour. So if we can all agree on Sadakli, I will say Sadakli. You know what? Because I know you've done it and you've done it. I've yet to do it. For the sake of breaking this logger jam, I will agree on Sadakli just so we can just move on, because we could be here all night. Yeah. We can make a case for that player and that player. So I will, for the sake of it. Because you could make the case for Harry Knight, you could make the case for Kaya Barnes, you could make the case for Anna Wilgren. There's too many players on this team that you could make a case for to put on your list. And at the end of the day, Teresa Charbonnel's another one. Yeah. Okay, so it's just. So I think, or Gosling, Julia Gosling! We don't want to mention Julia Gosling. So, do you know what? To break this logjam, I will agree with Daniel Sadakli. Yeah? Yeah, okay. I'm going to agree to that. Yes, we're going to. Otherwise, we're gonna be here all night. We will be here all night. We'll be going back and forth, back and forth. And it's just we need to come to a decision. So no, Lady's done it so far on the show. I've done it so far on the show. So you know what? I now need to do it for the sake of argument to break this logjam. I will say you can have Danielle Sadachny because she was a really good player for Ottawa in her rookie year, and it was a bit of a shock that she was signed by herself in its clear sign window. I thought if Sadachny was maybe going to go, it probably would have been a big expansion draft shock. Yeah, right. Not that Ottawa didn't have any big expansion draft shocks. Obviously, Ashton Bell was the first to go in the expansion draft. But I'm just saying that one is a bit of a really she's going. Yeah. So we're gonna leave it at that. Yeah. I just feel Sadachny was a huge snub of Canada's roster. And I feel it's a big mistake from Team Canada. So I expect her to be on that Canadian team next time round. Okay. So I'll just read through it again before we can lock it in. So on our list we've got Hannah Murphy, Alex Carpenter, and Danielle Sadachny. I don't think any of this is going to be right, but are we happy to lock it in? Yes. I didn't even get a chance to say it to them ask them individually. Just both went, "Yep." It's been hell, this one. Well, Turret by name, Turret by nature. Yeah. And I am also happy to lock this. So, twelve card. Yep. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, there we go. Right, so we're locking that in. We're going to lock that in. So our protection list for the Seattle Turret is as follows. We've got Hannah Bilker, Alex Carpenter, and Danielle Sadachny. That is now locked in. We're going to need a much needed breather, and when we come back, it's on to Tio. Oh, the Scepters will be next. The Toronto Scepters are going to be next. Like Boston, this was a team that did not know how to do protection this last year, did they? No. So that's what we're going to do when we come back. Right, here we go. Next up, I forgot. You can take me hard to go. Lucha, don't use that anymore. And yet it still kept being played around like a bad smell. Did it get played when we were on our trip? Back in March? Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, but even though the Scepters don't use that anymore, it still gets played around in various breaks in play during other teams' games. I mean, what were they thinking? Pretty Woman does not work as a goal song. It doesn't. Speaking of which, Pluto, that is touring next year. It's coming back! Yeah. It's coming back next year. I literally just saw it last week when you were busy with Eurovision. Yeah, so it's doing another tour next year. I didn't get to see the dates, but I do know it's coming back. So yeah, I'll have a look. Look, I hope it's not too close to Patterson because we just literally just got Patterson booked this past weekend. Yeah. God, if you are thinking about going to Patterson, you're gonna need to get your skates on because that, oh my god, that musical is so popular right now. Yeah, I think we were hoping we were going to catch it to, like, say, maybe August or the autumn of this year, but no, it's first opportunity we could book was for April next year. So if you are thinking about doing Patterson, I would suggest you get your skates on because those tickets are selling like hotcakes. Anyway, we are here to talk about Tio now. So we made it all the way to the last of the inaugural 6 teams. As a reminder, we've been doing this in alphabetical order. So Tio is basically the marmalade of an expansion sandwich. Sorry, who is this? Sorry. I know, that's bad. That's that is a corny joke, George. That's a corny joke and you know it. I know that was bad. Right, let's have a look at the roster. Okay, so immediately I'm thinking Reagan Kirk for protect. Oh, straight in. Immediately I'm thinking Reagan Kirk. Now, Tio this year were in the interest position of where they have a tandem, but we're not going to admit we have a tandem. So obviously, you had Reagan Kirk and Elaine Chuley this season, two reliable netminders who easily could have formed a really good tandem. But Troy Ryan, he was having none of it. He was like, nope, this is not a tandem. That's our starter. That's our backup. Done. Period. Like, conversation, period. But if you're a team like Tio that's got a lot of star power, and you know you've got a lot of playoff potential, I mean, we've got to remember that obviously, you know, in the inaugural season, this was the team that romped its way to the inaugural league title and still has the longest win streak in the PWHL. Other teams have tried to get close to that, but it's not been beaten as of yet. And I don't think it will get beaten until we go to, like, say, a 40 or 42 regular season schedule. Because obviously with 30 years, you've not got enough inroads to make with that. And I think Reagan Kirk was a huge reason why the Scepters managed to keep themselves in the playoff race. Agreed? Agreed. They would have been nothing without her this year. Like, nothing. She was a backbone. And we saw it early on, obviously, you know, how she had a impressive first game against us. Yeah, even got a shutout against us. And the other net my starting was Aaron yeah. No. Twice. Not once, but twice. She did it to us. Twice. Yeah, I agree. Reagan Kirk. I do wonder what would have happened last year in the playoffs if Reagan Kirk was healthy. Would Tio have found a way to avenge that 2024 loss, and it would have been George's dream playoff matchup? Oh, it would have! Yeah, it would! Because it would have been Tio in the finals, not us, Noah. Oh, yeah. I'm not sure that dream playoff scenario is going to exist anymore, is it, George? No. Told ya! Knew it! I know the Scepters fans are not looking forward to it, but I am so looking forward to those Hamilton Tio games next season. And I figured that is a playoff series. You're going to get your money's worth. You will get the sponsors. You will get the TV deals. Holy moly. But Reagan Kirk was a huge backbone. And I don't think the Scepters this time around can afford to lose a netminder like they did last year. Wasn't the expansion process? Sorry, wasn't the expansion draft? No, but it was in the exclusive side. Oh no, it wasn't. No, it was after. Oh no, sorry. No, you're right. Go ahead. It was after the draft. Oh yeah. So obviously, before the entry draft, there was talks that Tio tried to do a simple swapsies with a Victoire, whereas you give us Chili Morgan to Campbell, and obviously Dallas Elder was having none of it. Then in the draft, Vancouver and Tio trade picks in order for Vancouver to get Campbell. Yeah, there we go. Right, but you look at these two that miles available, you think one of them will go. One of them will go surely. So I don't think Tio can afford to lose Reagan Kirk. So I just put her in, do it. I just feel like I need to lock her in now because I just think if you leave her vulnerable, you leave her unprotected, we all know what's going to happen. It'll be Sarah Nurse all over again. Yeah, I'm calling it now. So can I have that one? Yeah, thank you very much. And can I just say more about Reagan Kirk while you're doing that, George? Yeah. She got given support from her teammates. Oh, yeah. Because for a lot of Tio's games this season, yep, I just felt she's not being supported. No. Oh, we could see it clearly. Like that game when they lost to Seattle. What was it, like 6-4, something like that? That was a bit of a... That. And wasn't there a period where they didn't score that many goals? Nah. I think it was before the Olympics. Yeah, where they didn't score that many. Yeah. I kind of felt, well, I was watching a lot of TO games today, I kind of felt, you're not supporting your netminder. Support your netminder, because Reagan Clark is doing really good things. It's just her teammates, they're not supporting her. And I think there's a couple of results that TO had this year. You change that, that could be the difference between them and Aura going through. Yeah. That's just how we did not have a lot of hope with TO this year. Oh, we will get to that in the report cards. We will get to that in the report cards, but yeah. But I kind of feel, if TO loses Reagan Kirk, that's it, they're lost. They are going to be in the wilderness for the next few years. So you cannot afford to lose her. Now, you can afford to lose Julie, but you cannot afford to lose Reagan Kirk. Sorry, no. Right. Now, this is where it gets sticky. Oh, we've already... No, not again. Not again. Now you think, right, who are the other two slots going to go? Now, there's a lot of players who I think could be put on this. So should I do that? Should we do that again? Alright, so I'm thinking Shelton, Renata Fast, Claire Dawson, Blair Turnbull, Emma Malte, and Natalie Spooner, Kristen De La Rovier. That's a lot, I know! That's a lot! Yeah, those players. That's a lot! Why Rovier? Because she did great. Because she did very, very well for Italy in Milan. Okay. And I kind of felt that is a young and upcoming player who you give her more time. Wasn't she also reserve? And yeah, she was one of Tia's reserves. But I think you give her more time, I think she could be an impressive player for the PWHL. Yeah, I see the point, but I don't think she would be protected by it. I think she could be easy to pick in expansion. Okay, do you think that would be? I just think you've just made a very good case there, George. But I think you've just made a case for an expansion team to nab her, not for TO to protect her. Okay, fine. Right. I'll tell you who needs to be protected at all costs. Natalie Spooner. Oh no, here we go again. No, I'm not. No, lady. No. Right, I'm sorry. I'm going to need a drink here. No, I know where she's going. I can't do this again. I thought we left it at last year's report card. Well, I'm bringing it back. Oh God. No, sorry. I am going to have to go and top this up. I'm sorry. I can't. If she's going to bring this up again. I can't. I need to top up. I'm sorry. I can't. Are you singing the Bee Gees to X-Files? Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please. I'm begging. You can beg all you like, we're still going there. Oh, for... Seriously, it's supposed to be my show, and sometimes I don't even have control over it. Right, go on. Go on. In fact, I'm just going to act aloof. Go on. Where's my tissue? Oh, shit! Mike's got all over the place. Okay. Alright, go on. Mine's getting more box. Right, get another box of those. Right, go on. Go on. Is it fine? Yeah, it's fine. New mic, just getting used to it. Right. I'm trying to position it. Go on. Go on. Make your case. Make your case. Go on. Go on. Right. We all know that last year TO struggled for the first half of the season. Okay? Which is a bit bizarre because, you know, in going into last season, they were the defending league champions. We all at one point thought that TO and even Boston might be those two teams that fight for the goal plan. That was how shocking it was. Then you get to the second half, Natalie Spooner comes back in, and it's a complete turnaround. Even at one point, they could have easily taken Montreal down for first place. Yep. And I remember George, you saying, if you think, I remember you saying last year, George, if Tio wins the league, it's a disgrace. Well, he didn't play that well for the whole season. I'm sorry. Last year, I could not make an argument for anybody other than Montreal to win the league. I'm just calling it now. Personally, I was so impressed with what Montreal was doing last season. I kind of thought, wow, this is a team that could potentially rival us for the World Cup. It easily could have been last year, us and Montreal in the finals last year, which, honestly, I don't think people would have minded, because I think a lot of people would have predicted that would have been a likely matchup compared to what we actually got. But, yeah, I just thought, I'm sorry, if somebody other than Montreal wins the league, it's a joke. It's a joke. And how many times did I say last season this team was nothing without Natalie Spooner? So, I think if Natalie Spooner goes, you will feel a huge dent in this team. I'm not having it. I am not wasting a protection slot on Natalie Spooner. No. She's not even their captain, lady. She's not. Okay, well, you watch the TO fans scream and shout and call you the C word when she goes. Could be called worse. Oh, yeah, that is true. You could be called worse. Yeah, that's true. I'm not doing it. You're beating that right now. Yeah. No, I'm not doing that. No. Plus, I don't recall them protecting her last year. No. There you go. So no, I'm vetoing that. No, we're not. I'm not having that. I am not wasting a protection slot on a player like that who, let's face it, hasn't got much left. So no, I'm not doing that. Okay, you throw someone in the mix then. Renata Fast. Come on. I mean, oh, here we go. I would go for that. Ah, here we go. There we go. Okay. I think Tio right now needs a player with Renata Fast's speed and agility on this team, because this team took a massive step backwards this season. Okay. Now we knew that there was that there might have been issues with Tio, because obviously Tio fucked up their expansion process last year, obviously by letting Sarah Nurse go. Fucked it up. They didn't even protect her. Fucked it up. Alright? Big time. Fucked it up. Okay. So, we were convinced that Tia was going to struggle. And I remember going to the first half, so basically a few weeks before Milan Cortina, I was basically thinking, this team should be in the basement right now. Not, was it Seattle? Or was it Vancouver at the time? And then the first half, Seattle. And I think you did say it in the first half look backs. You did say that Tia should belong in the basement of a Seattle. You did say that. Okay, check the tapes. Check the tapes, guys. Check the tapes. Check the tapes. So I do think that Tia needs someone who's got that speed and agility, because she is fast. She is fast when she gets going. You do not want to see Renata Fast on the breakaway. So, okay, you can have that. Oh, hallelujah! We've got a consensus. Right, well, let's do that then. Before someone dare changes their mind. Good luck picking a third one. Good luck picking a third player. Well, that's what we're here to do, lady. Can I just say what is on the record? Go on. If I did this on my own, immediately I would put Natalie Spooner behind Regan Kirk. Well, you're not doing it on your own. This is a collective. It's a collective, and we all have to agree on it, and it has to be unanimous. So do not try. I'm warning you now. Now, okay, because it's been a long show. I'm warning you now. Do not try to veto this last pick out of spite, just because you want to protect Natalie Spooner. I'm warning you now. Okay, I'm warning you now. You try that, no one's going to be leaving this room. Okay, I'm warning you now. Don't try it. Okay, well, it's on the record, but I'm just warning you now. Don't try it. Same goes for you. Don't try it. I'm warning you now. It's as difficult as it is. Right. So that then leaves kind of like Blair Turnbull, Air Shelton, Claire Dalton, and even Emma Malte, Blair Turnbull. Turnbull, Malte, Dalton, Shelton. I was very impressed with Air Shelton. Oh, come on. You think he deserves to be protected over lots of Malte and Turnbull? Can you let him make his point? Do you see what I had to put up with on a daily basis? Do you see what I had to put up with? Let me go back to Pluto. What were you saying before you were rudely interrupted by your wife? Oh! Oh! It's mentality ganging up here now. I was very impressed with how Air Shelton slotted in. To, yeah. Didn't she in the first game of the regular season, because that was against us, didn't she get the game winner? I think she did. Yeah. It was a very low. It was a long night, by the way, because obviously after us, we then went to Vancouver to watch the Golden Eyes host the tournament for their home there. I remember our game was a very quiet game compared to the second one. Yeah. Well, not much good. I think she did get the game. I think she did. I was very impressed with how she slotted in brilliant, because that I believe was the trade that I felt put you in cardiac arrest. It was literally every trade that we saw at last year's draft. I am worried for you when we get to Detroit. I'm very worried for you. Every time last year, Cassie Pascal Campbell came on the draft floor to announce it, he was like, uh-oh. And the Air Shuttle literally had you almost in cardiac arrest because you couldn't believe it. But because she was on our protection list last year. She was one of the... Because last year we had Shelton, Fillier, and Carpenter for the Sirens, and only Fillier got protected. Well, no, Shelton did stay, but then obviously got took in the draft, a trade in the entry draft. Yeah, but it was well known. Yeah. So like, do we still count as a win? You know, she wasn't last time, but it still counts as a win. Yeah, I think she slotted in. The question is, would you dare protect her? And I think this is what Lee was trying to get at. Would you dare protect her over Turnbull and Malte? No. Okay. What if she makes it to phase 3? Well, if she makes it to phase 3 as a set, that's fine. But no, not in this stage. No. No, let me guess. If you do this on your own, she would go. You would put second behind Kirk. Is that what it is? Yeah. Oh! Just no. Give me fucking strength. Alright. No, I need counselling! Give me fucking strength! Well, you basically did. No, I didn't! No, I didn't! You two agreed to put Kirk on! You two agreed! I did not! You two were the ones who were like, oh, well, I was doing it on my own, I put this one. I did not go there. Don't say I started it. Lady started it. What? You started it. What? You started. I did not start it. You did. You started it. We want to be Natty Spears' cheerleader. Admit it. You started it. Oh my god. Alright. So, right, are we... I don't even want to dare come back over. Yeah, I have to, because your one has to press the button. Right. Can we agree it's either Malte or Turnbull? Agreed? Well, in that case, I'll go Malte. Oh, can I sit back down first? Right. If we're doing it between Turnbull and Malte, I would go Malte. Yeah. You agree? Right, I'm going to do it again. For the sake of the argument, I will put that in. You don't look happy. What do you mean I don't look happy? I just have to deal with you two being complete arseholes. Ooh, that's strong. Oh, you know I can swear a lot better than that lady. Let's all try and breathe. Let's not. You sod your well-being. It doesn't work. Right. Ugh. I'm surprised no one said Darryl Watts. Don't throw her into the mix now! I'm just surprised no one brought her up. Don't throw her into the mix now when I'm putting Malte on the list. Don't you dare. If you dare, I'll throw you off. I'm actually at that mood. This is what you two have done to me now. This one. I'm actually considering it. Right, have I spelled her name right? Oh yes, there we go. So I do have to keep cross-checking the rosters just to make sure I've got names spelled right, because obviously we don't got to publish these lists afterwards. Yep. Right. So, are we locking this in? I was going through it for you again. So we've got Reagan Kirk, Renata Fast, and Emma Malte. Are we happy to lock that in? Yeah. Yes. So for gritted teeth. Don't eye roll. Don't you eye roll. If you're only listening, Ladies just eye rolled me. Don't you eye roll. Yes or no? If you say no, we can't move on. Confirm it. Right, right, I'm also happy with that as well. Right, we're locking that in. We are locking that in. Okay. So to confirm, our potential list for the Toronto Scepters is Reagan Kirk, Renata Fast, and Emma Malte. One more go. One more go. Yeah, one more go. Right. I'm off to go and throw remote controls at a brick wall. When we come back, we will go on to the Bank of God Eyes. Okay? So I just need to go and let out some inner anger. Alright, so let's all go take a breather. We'll be right back. Okay, and last up, it is the Vancouver Golden Eyes. Now, like with Seattle, this is going to be really tricky, you know. They have literally... It was only this time last year they joined the league. Yeah, they joined the league this time last year. You know, so it's going to be quite hard to try and, you know, do protectionist for the expansion team. But for me, and I'm going to get their roster on the phone to help out. Yeah, we pretty much have done it for all the teams, so we may as well do it for Vancouver. Right, okay, so give me a couple moments to just... go on. Put that up. Give you guys some more thinking time. Yeah. It's even hard because this team we all thought was going to win the World Cup this year. I know, right? I know, so this makes it even more harder. But it has to be done. It has to be done. It has to be done. Right, got it. Right. Okay. I think for me, there's one that I think needs to be locked in straight away. I'm going to come out and straight away say it. Emma's Maguire. Yeah, good. Thank God for that. Okay, because Vancouver are kind of in the exact position, the exact same position. Okay, the exact same position, I should say, as Ottawa was this time last year. And what I mean by that is, you can afford to lose one netminder. And throughout all of last season, the talk was Emma's Mashmeyer likely will get protected by the charge, where Fitz is the one that gets sacrificed to the expansion process. And it all basically will be happy days. Now, of course, obviously towards the end of the season, Mashmeyer gets injured. In a game against awesome all teams. Where Fitz comes in, takes over, has an impressive end to the season, gets into the World Cup finals, and earns some protection slot. So the way on a charge, you should be saying thank you. No, they won't. No, they won't. So they're not going to thank us. We should say thank you because where Fitz going to be on Vancouver and riding their way all the way to the World Cup playoff. So say thank you, Aura. They're not going to thank you. They want your head on a stick. They still believe that cut should have been theirs last year. And, well, I might sort of say no. Even though I am on the team that did win it last year. But, I don't know. Anyway. You gave us a good run from me last. Oh, well, I'll leave it at that. Yeah. So I kind of think Vancouver on the exact same because they've got Eris Mashmeyer and Kristen Campbell. Two rock-solid netminders. Two who have both been at one point in this league starting netminders for Local 16. Mashmeyer with Aura and Campbell with Tio. Now, throughout the regular season, I kind of felt, and if you two want to argue this, you can. I kind of felt that Emma's Mashmeyer was kind of seen as the starting netminder for Vancouver, and Campbell was kind of like the backup. Yeah. No, I'm not even going to argue that. No, that is absolutely a fair analysis, George. What is it? You reckon it's a lot more easy than it looks? You reckon it's a lot more easy than it looks, guys? What can we say? No. Yeah, I agree. So I definitely would. If it was me, if I was thinking over Mashmeyer and Campbell, who would I not want to lose? I would want to lose Mashmeyer. No. Yeah, she did have an injury at some point, but I felt when they played with her in the net, they play a lot more better than with Campbell in the net. Yeah. So I think, yeah, I would run the risk. Plus, Mashmeyer knows she was on this scenario last year. She did get protected last year and was taken. What's that could happen 2 years in a row? Yeah. So I think she's thinking, please protect me. I don't want to uproot 6 again. No, I definitely was already thinking, right, so she's just lock it in now. Yeah, okay, well, I'll lock that in now. Right, good. To me, as soon as the first expansion team was announced and meets Detroit, so as soon as Detroit was announced, I was already thinking, you've got to do it. You have got to protect Eris Mashmeyer. It has to be her. No offense to Campbell, but I'm just saying, when we're thinking about, who we can protect, because obviously we can only really afford to protect one netminder here. We're thinking, who's that going to be? Who would we see as the most likely to protect? It would have to be her. I'm afraid that's just the way the cookie's going to crumble, right? Yeah, so I'm locking her in now. Okay. This is now then where it gets tricky. Oh yeah. This now is where it's gonna get very, very tricky. So I'm just locking her in onto the list. As a reminder, I probably said it plenty of times throughout the episode, but as a reminder, all these lists will be published on my Instagram before the start of phase 1. Yeah. So So do keep an eye out on my Instagram. It is at George D Hand. That is my personal Instagram account. Where I do a lot of my advocacy work for the PWHL. Yeah. So all those lists will be going on there before phase 1 gets underway. Right. Now, who do we get to protect next? Well, I think there's a lot of players you could consider. Now, I'm not going to conclude Claire Thompson in this, alright? Well, we don't know what she wants to do. She could decide to stay, or she could go back to school. Okay, so that's why I'm not going to say include Claire Thompson. No. There's no point wasting a protection slot on somebody who might not come back. Yeah, I agree. So what are the nominations for Friday? I would say Ashton Bell. I would say Sophie Jokes. I would say Jen Gardner. I would also say Abby Baru. Those are some of the names I would throw into the mix. Okay. And I think a lot of those are players that really, they should have had, quite a productive season, but haven't really had that much of a productive season. Yeah. So, can we just keep to those players just mentioned? Yeah, that makes it easier. Sure, you'd want to go with Jan Gardner because she was seen before the process began last year. She was seen as someone who could be targeted. Hometown talent. Wouldn't you want that big signing in your back pocket? So I'd have thought maybe you'd want to protect her over else. Yeah, ladies, also just forgot to mention Sarah Nurse. Hang on. It's like, yeah, there's a good. So it's like, hang on. Where? Oh no, we're gonna throw us in the mix as well. I think we have to. No, not this again. No, I can't do that again. No, not again. But I just think, it's very rare to get a hometown sign on your team, okay? Especially in a league like this, where the talent pool is what it is, okay? So, if you're Vancouver, wouldn't you want to try and hold on to that? Above all else? Yeah, I would. Yeah, yes. I just can't really see where she would fit with the other teams. No, unless she was to get signed back with Montreal. I don't think about that. I don't think about Bruce Harper. No, especially if they can keep O'Neill and rocking. So I think I definitely would protect Jen Gardner. I just don't know how you two can remember. It has to be unanimous. We have to agree on this as a collective. I'd go Jen Gardner. I also go Jen Gardner. If you two are happy to do that, I'm happy to do that because I really am struggling with what I want to do with Vancouver. Yeah, it's so hard because on paper, this team should have won the World Cup, and yet it's not. So I'm struggling now to think, where do I go with who do I protect? So if you two are happy to do with that, I'm all fine with it. Look for him. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And the question is, who's the third? Yeah. He would think jokes. Oh, not this again. I'm literally still having night flashbacks to last year when we were and over her and Steckline and we zigged. We should have zagged. Right. Who's the third? Who's the third? Who wants to dare say that third pick? It could be Nurse, it could be Bell, it could be Jakes. I don't know. Oh god. You've got a thing for long term, yeah. Well, if we're thinking long term, it should be Abby Barine. Because if she easily could be taken by Vancouver in the expansion draft last year, what's to stop her being taken in the expansion process this year? And I did not see that one coming last year. I mean, Abby Marie did amazing for Montreal last year. And obviously we all knew, no way could she be protected over the likes of Pelen, Stacey, Disbia. No way. But I would have thought that Montreal would have been able to hold on to her. Yeah, but they used their 4 protectors on Ambrose. Yeah, because they wanted to put you back in your basket. Honestly, that was so hilarious. Because he'd been saying, I don't think Montreal could keep hold of Barnes and Ambrose. You thought they were both going to go. And as soon as Montreal's 4 protection slot got activated last year, straight away, it was Ambrose. So funny. Yeah, I agree. I don't think I saw that one coming in. I thought, ooh, that would have. I kind of felt Barini last year would have played. The 2 teams would have looked at. And they thought, not sure how she could fit into the organisation. But Vancouver brought no Labba, and she did actually do quite well. So, yeah. So if you're thinking about building for the future, you'd go Barini. But if you want to try and keep hold of star talent, you have to go with either Sophie Jakes or you'd go with your Captain. Oh, Captain. Yeah. So, what's it to be? It's the question. That's the question you've got to ask yourself. What would it be? And I know that here we don't say the Golden Ice Bands are going to come for us. But we can only have. But for this first phase, we can only have 3. So. As much as you can make a case for Nurse, Jakes, and Bell, I think the best thing Vancouver needs to do, especially as we know they're going to have that first overall pick on June 17th, I think the best thing for Vancouver to do is think of the future. And that means protect Abby Marie. I would do it. I would do it. We know what a star player that she is. I mean, she was reserved for us in the inaugural season, did wonders there. Obviously, was the shock draft pick of the 2024 draft because it was by Montreal, not us. But of course, we had personnel issues. So, we won't go there. Don't go there. Yeah, I kind of wanna. I kind of want to use this last slot. I want to use it on Marine, but it's got to be you to make it anonymous. Make it official. Do you two think she could be a huge target? I think she could. So, I just. So I feel like I'm gonna be what Lady was with Jen Gardner to say yeah, just for the sake of it, just so we can get this pick locked in. Yeah. Been tough. It's been tough. So can you imagine how it's going to be even more tough when we get to a 16-team league in the future and then we get to a 20? It's going to be just tough. Yeah. Well, hopefully when we get to a 16-20 league, it'll be just like a standard draft where you just pick one from each team. Like the NHL. Yeah, that's... Yeah. The NHL, in a way, has it so much more easy when it comes to expansion drafts. Because in expansion drafts, you have to have a massive list of protected and unprotected players. And then each expansion team coming in, depending on how many come in, just picks one from each roster. We're nowhere near at that stage yet. Now, although you could have argued you could have done that this time round. And then have 4 exclusive sign window signees, but it's not a joke. Not a joke. Because remember, by the time we get to the entry draft in Detroit, each of the 4 expansion teams will have 16 players. That's quite a fair few shy of the 23 you're meant to hit. So if I was the league, I would be offering like some extra draft picks to these expansion teams to try and get their roster close to the 23 number. Did you say an extra 2? I think you could easily make a case where you could give the expansion teams an extra 2 picks. That's why I'm saying don't put the expansion teams higher than the current 8, because it will then get messy if you then want to then hand out extra picks. But we'll see what happens. Right. So what do we say? Are we saying Marine? Do I look like him? Or am I not looking at him? As much as you can make a case for Ashton Bell or Sarah Nurse or even Sophie Jake, I think I will let this one slide. And if those 3 survive, it's a phase 3. I'll go for it. So you're happy to lock them? Okay. Do that now. Okay. Right. But Vancouver has been a really tricky team here because, you know, this team had high expectations. Even us 3 gave Vancouver a fair shout. We really thought maybe, just maybe, they could be the second team in league history to win the World Cup in their inaugural season. Yeah. And also be the first Canadian team to do that. Oh well, I'll have to fall to Hamilton. Oh, don't jinx the boy edge the low, George. Wow, they were quite boisterous in their press conference. You know, when we announced, they were quite boisterous, thinking, "Yeah, we are a city of champions." I'm like, okay, you mean business? That's good. That's really good. Yeah. So for Vancouver Golden Knights, we got our protection list: Eris Marshmeyer, Jen Gardner, and Abby Barine. Are you happy to lock those in? Remember, this has to be unanimous. We all have to agree, or we can't move on. You know, this is the last team, but we can't move on. So are you happy for me to lock those in? I am. Rather so many other picks, I will be happy to lock that in. Okay, I'm good too. Yeah. Right, so that's locked in. So I can confirm that our protection list for the Vancouver Golden Knights is as follows. We've got Eris Marshmeyer, Dan Gardner, and Abby Barine. That's a tough one to do. Tough one to end what's been a massive show. But there again, like with Seattle earlier on, it's a lot harder for the 2 expansion seasons we just had, because you've only just had 1 season, and you didn't really up to the expectations. But there you go. That is our protection list for the Vancouver Golden Knights. That's it. They're all done. They're all done. So let's go take a quick breather, and then we'll come back and sign off, okay? So we all earned it. And there we go. We've made it. We've got through it. That is all of our protection list for all 8 teams. They will be made available on my official Instagram account. That is at George D. Hand. They'll be made available after this episode is published. So you can go and check those out. Okay. When phase 1 protection lists come out, so when the lists come out for phase 1 protection, we will come back and we will go through those lists. We'll do it exactly how we did it last year, so we will do it in real time, so no one's going to look at those beforehand. Yeah. And then obviously we will recap what happened in phase 1. Yeah, so the expansion process is well underway. And if you thought this locking episode was tricky, wait till we have to do it for phase 3. Oh god, wait till we do it for phase 3. We'll have a little bit of clear indication of how the teams are going so far. But yeah, so that is it. This lock-in is done. It's completed. Go check out all the lists on my Instagram at George D. Hand, and we will be back to give you a rundown of how phase 1 went very soon. But until then, take care, guys.